When it comes to commercial roofing sales, are you using your scope of work to sell? Let's talk about closing a job with your scope of work. Hi, this is Daniel Lakstins, and you're listening to the Roofing Business Builder Podcast. And go ahead and hit subscribe right now and click like and hit the bell so that way you'll be notified when another amazing episode comes out. The Roofing Business Builder Podcast is brought to you by Roofing Business Builder, the coaching program. Now, if you're one of those roofers that want to get into commercial roofing and you've been doing residential for 5 years and well, there's a learning curve with commercial roofing. If you have those fears or concerns, then the Roofing Business Builder program would be perfect for you, as long as you're doing around $500,000. But if you want to get up to speed and start doing millions of dollars, then be sure to go to Roofing Business Builder and sign up with me on my Calendly for a Zoom call where we can go over your situation, where you're at, and see if you just might be a good fit for the program. Now, this week, I wanted to talk about closing deals with your scope of work. What do I mean? Can you really close deals with your scope of work? Yes. As a matter of fact, it is the way that will close out the competition. So let's look into my weekly wins call, where I cover how we can use the scope of work to sell the customer and close the deal. All right, guys, let's get into prospecting. This week, I was wanting to talk to you about using your scope of work when you're selling your jobs. And we've ran into this over the years. And it's so funny because there's always the inexperienced roofer that has a sincere heart, but they're trying to just get that job and they don't know how to calculate their, profit loss. They don't know what their overhead really is. So they're just throwing out numbers. And a lot of times they're throwing out a crappy spec and then charging a more expensive price for that crappy spec because they don't know how to do the proper calculation. So many times you're going to run into where you're selling a customer and you're giving them a scope of work of what really is required to make that roof not leak for the length of that warranty. But another roofer, they'll come in behind you that's inexperienced, is going to throw down some crappy scope and it's going to look cheaper. But in most cases that we found, it's not even cheaper if you would have showed what your company would have done that crappy scope for. So how can we do this? Why not provide two scopes? So get your bare bones scope, something that, it's not going to have all the fancy schmancy anything. Maybe it's going to have the crappy galvalume, termination edge details, but they're going to have to paint them and then show them how cheap that would be. And then show them what the Kynar coated galvalume is going to be and tell them how that Kynar coated galvalume is going to have a 30-year warranty on the color and that it's not going to chip or it's not going to flake. And so if you show them these things, show them the tapered system, take a piece of tapered in there and show them pictures of how ponding water works and how the warranty will be void. And for some reason, a lot of the reps, when they see, ponding water, tech reps, when they're inspecting that roof, they'll just look the other way. And then 2 or 3 years down the road, there might be some problems with leaks. And next thing you know, they don't have a warranty. Well, don't let that happen to your customer. And remember, with the Roofing Business Builder, we're teaching to find multiple customers that have multiple buildings. So you're specifically looking for a customer that you're going to do business with over the next 10 years, over the next 20 years, or whenever you exit your business. But the point is, you don't want to do this to your customer. So show these two scopes of work and explain to them that I'm not going to do this a shitty one, but I'm giving this to you so you know that if someone comes in the back door and tries to sell you this, it won't work. I can't do this because in 2 years, you're going to have nothing but problems, And so explain those things to them. And if they don't go with you, then really they're not a customer you're going to want, because we've ran into those people that wouldn't go with us on that. And then say we did do the crappy scope and then they didn't pay their bills. And that's just the type of people that, if they're not in the right mindset, that's kind of like when you're growing your business, it's like this beautiful tree and has branches, and those branches, people are connected throughout. Well, some of those crappy people that you don't want to do business with, it's just better to snip off that branch and not worry about it ever again, because you are worthy of having the best customers. So two scopes of work. You want to do that. Here's an example. So you have your base, then you recommend these upgrades. We can talk about drainage, your tapered system, crickets. So you're showing them, but you have to explain all this to them. And of course, remember, you're going to build that 32-page book, or 15 to 32 pages. This is a great opportunity to show 2 different types of scope. Penetrations, your HVAC units. You're going to run into these situations. Like if you look at this picture, that's a skylight. That skylight needs to be removed, right? And a new one installed. Well, those skylights cost between $800 over $1,000. What if they have 40 of these on the roof? I can't afford that. Well, how can you not afford it? If this is your roof, maybe they're going to move out within 3 to 7 years, but what's the right thing to do? And put them on a payment program for that, right? But show them why this is really necessary. There are some other ways of doing this, but I mean, you're going to have to build curbs that, if you need that 6 to 8 inches of wrapping that curb, that means you're going to have to put in like a 12-inch curb and a skylight on top. And so there's cheaper ways of doing certain things, but I tell you, for a little bit more money, they can get it made in a factory, and it's going to be something that's going to last for the life of that warranty. So, and then the edge detail too. Remember, you can reuse, but isn't it better to replace that with Kynar coated Galvalume? And remember, only show them maybe 4 different colors to choose from, or whatever, maybe whatever the standard colors that are available. But remember, don't use unpainted metal, because that's just a maintenance for them every year. And guess what? They're not going to do that maintenance every year, and it's going to look like shit. And guess what? Everyone that drives by is like, I wonder who did that roof. You don't want your name attached to something that looks like shit, because that's all you see. People driving by, they don't see the beautiful work you did on the roof. They only see that shitty ass edge detail. So don't be one of those roofers that tries to go cheap. Make sure that they use Kynar coated Galvalume. All right, guys, how about questions? Anyone?
And now it's time for Did You Know? Did you know that not all customers out there look for the cheapest price? I hear this all the time from roofers. I mean, I actually, in college, my business teacher said that everyone was looking for the cheapest price. And I feel like a lot of roofers out there have that mentality that, everyone just wants the cheapest price. It's not true. And just look at the kind of jeans you wear or the pair of shoes you wear, and you can realize that if that were true, then there wouldn't be clothing that had different pricing, and there wouldn't be customers for the ones that buy the more expensive clothes that actually last longer, that actually fit better. It actually makes you happier. See, there's 2 different types of personalities or mentalities out there. There are ones that are constantly budget conscious, which I have to be honest with you, out of all your friends, how many people are super budget conscious? Some, but the point is it seems like there's more people that like high quality, that don't mind spending a little bit more money to actually have something that's worth a lot more value. And so my suggestion to you is to always sell value and to look for those customers that truly love value, that will pay you for what you're worth, and then develop relationships with them. and you're going to be super happy. And guess what? So will they. Well, that's it for the podcast. I know it was a short one, but tune in next week because I interview Wes Neal. He was also a rep like I was, independent representatives of different manufacturers of different roofing products for assemblies of commercial roofing. We talk a lot about how important it is to work with reps. So be sure to tune in next Tuesday for the Roofing Business Builder podcast. Until then, I don't always consult on commercial roofing, but when I do, I make millionaires. Stay wealthy, my friends.